Once upon a time, a witch loved stories galore, and greedy as she was, she wanted more and more. When she saw that the librarian had stories of all kinds, she said, "I'll capture you, all your stories will be mine." There took place a curious chase through meadow, tree, and flower, till at last they ended up right at the witch's tower. Now poor Marian, the librarian, a prisoner she'll stay, until the witch is happy and lets Marian go away.
Hi, am I glad to see you? I think I have just about everything for a story. I found an owl. I think witches are supposed to love owls. And I found a kangaroo. Now, this kangaroo doesn't have any pocket, but don't worry about that, because I found something else for a pocket. Found an apron, and there's a pocket right on it. You think that will work? Okay, let's take all these things and put them in the machine. Turn it on. And it's a book called Katy No Pocket by Payne Emmy.
Big tears rolled down Katy Kangaroo's brown face. Poor Katy was crying because she didn't have a pocket like other mother kangaroos. Freddie was Katy Kangaroo's little boy, and he needed a pocket to ride in. And poor Katy didn't have any pocket at all. Then, all of a sudden, Katy had a wonderful idea. It was so wonderful, she jumped 6 feet up in the air. The idea was this. Other animal mothers had children, and they didn't have any pockets. She'd go and ask one of them how they carried their babies. "Mrs. Crocodile," said Katy, feeling lots better already. "She hasn't any pocket. Let's ask her." A lot of big muddy bubbles came up through the water, and then Mrs. Crocodile stuck her head up and opened her enormous mouth and smiled. "Why, Katy Kangaroo, what can I do for you today?" "Please, Mrs. Crocodile, I am so sad," said Katy. "I have no pocket, and Freddie has to walk wherever we go, and he gets so tired. How do you carry little Catherine Crocodile? Oh, do please tell me." "Why, I carry her on my back, of course," said Mrs. Crocodile. Katy was pleased. She said, "Thank you." And as soon as she got to a good squatting down place, she squatted down and said, "Now, Freddie, climb on my back. After this, it will be so simple, no trouble at all." But it wasn't simple. In the first place, Freddie could not crawl up on her back because his knees stuck out. And he couldn't hang on because his front legs were too short. And when he did manage to hang on for a few minutes, and Katy gave a long hop, he fell off, bump, bang, with a terrific thump. So Katy saw that she couldn't carry her baby on her back. Katy and Freddie sat down again and thought and thought. "I know. I'll ask Mrs. Monkey. I'm sure she can help me." So Katy and Freddie set off for the forest, and very soon they found Mrs. Monkey. She had her young son Jocko with her. "Please, Mrs. Monkey, how do you carry Jocko?" "Why, in my arms, of course," said Mrs. Monkey, and she whisked away through the trees. "Oh, dear," said Katy, "I can't carry anything in these short little arms. Oh, dear." Poor Freddie. He hated to see his mother cry. So he put his paw to his head, and he thought and thought and thought. What about the lion? He asked. Katy said, they don't carry their children. The poor things walk just the way you do. There's birds, said Freddie. How do they carry their babies? Birds, said Katy. The mother birds just push their children out of the nest. Then all at once, Katy Kangaroo said, the owl knows almost everything. Well then, said Freddie, for goodness sake, let's ask him. They found the owl asleep in an old dead tree, and he was cross because he didn't want to be waked up in the middle of the day. But when he saw that Katy was so sad, he came out, blinking and ruffling his feathers, and he said in a scratchy voice, Well, what is it? Speak up, and speak loudly. I'm deaf as a post." So Katy Kangaroo stood under the tree and screamed at him, "I'm a mother kangaroo, and I haven't a pocket to carry my child in. What shall I do?" "Get a pocket," said the owl, and he went to sleep again. "Where?" cried Katy. "Oh, please, don't go to sleep before you tell me where." "How should I know?" said the owl. "They sell that sort of thing in the city, I believe. Now kindly go away and let me sleep." "The city," said Katy, and looked at Freddie with big round eyes. "Of course, we'll go to the city." Katy was so excited that she almost left Freddie behind as she went leaping over bushes and hopping along the path. She hopped so fast that Freddie could hardly keep up. But at last they left the woods behind and came to the city. The city where there were stores and houses and automobiles. The people all stared and stared at Katy, but she didn't notice it. She was looking for pockets, and she saw them almost everywhere. And then, all at once, she saw, well, she could hardly believe it, a man who seemed to be all pockets. He was simply covered with pockets. Big pockets, little pockets, medium-sized pockets. Katy went up to him and laid a paw on his arm. "Please, dear kind man, where did you get all those pockets?" "These pockets?" he said. "Why, they just came with the apron, of course." Katy asked, "You mean you can really get something to put on with all those pockets already on it?" "Sure you can," said the man. "I keep my hammer and nails and tools in my pockets, but I can get another apron, so I'll give you mine." He took off the apron and dumped it upside down. Out fell a saw, wrench, nails, a hammer, a drill, and lots of other tools. Then the man shook the apron hard and turned it right side up again and hung it around Katy's neck and tied it behind her back. Katy was so pleased and excited and happy that she couldn't speak. She just stood still and looked down at the pockets and smiled and smiled and smiled. By this time, a big crowd had gathered to see what Katy Kangaroo was doing. When they saw how pleased she was, they all smiled too. At last, Katy was able to say thank you to the nice, kind man. And then what do you think she did? She popped Freddie into a very comfortable pocket, and she hippity-hopped home faster than ever before because, of course, she didn't have to wait for Freddie. And when she got home, what do you think she did? Well, she had so many pockets that she put Freddie into the biggest one of all. And there was still room for a monkey, a skunk, a rabbit, a raccoon, a lizard, a squirrel, a possum, a turtle, a frog, and a snail. So now all the animals like Katy's pockets better than any other pockets in the whole forest. And Katy Kangaroo is very happy because now she has more pockets than any mother kangaroo in the world.
Well, I think Kerfumbly will like that story, don't you? And if she does, maybe she will let me out of here. Come and help me call her, will you? Don't forget to start with your left hand. Left and right and Zachary Zoo, here's a story just for you.
Oops. Excuse me.
Here it is.
Oh, a story just for me. Thank you. Katy, no pocket. Oh, no pocket? Well, how did that make Katy feel? Sad. Did she ever get a pocket? She did. Where did she find a pocket? Oh, on an apron. Who gave her an apron? A working man? Oh, this really does sound like a wonderful story. Oh, but I do want another one. You know, this story just won't quite do, Marion.
Well, now why not?
Well, it's a pretend story.
Oh, how do you know it's a pretend story?
Well, real animals don't talk. Do they? No, real animals don't talk, and real kangaroos don't wear aprons. Do they? No, they don't. So you see, it's a pretend story, and I want a story about something that could really happen.
Well, now wait, let me get this straight. You want a story about animals, and you want a story that could really happen, is that right?
That's right.
A story about animals and a story that could really happen. I wonder if we can find a story like that. Will you come back next time and help me? Good. See you soon.
Once upon a time, a witch loved stories galore, and greedy as she was, she wanted more and more. When she saw that the librarian had stories of all kinds, she said, "I'll capture you, all your stories will be mine." There took place a curious chase through meadow, tree, and flower, till at last they ended up right at the witch's tower. Now poor Marian, the librarian, a prisoner she'll stay, until the witch is happy and lets Marian go away.